Hey guys, what's up? This is Force of Force StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a response to Zergling Muta. Zergling Muta is basically a very strong build for Zerg players, very prevalent as well versus Terran opponents. The idea behind it is using speedlings to always have the constant threat of running into the Terran player's base and taking out key production buildings, as well as taking out the mineral line, and then switching into Mutalisk to attack them from the air and kind of take them by surprise. Ideally they would be low on anti-air at that point. So that's kind of the Zerg's point of view. That's kind of the Zerg's reason for wanting to go for that. So as the Terran player, with seeing that, or with knowing that they're probably going to be going for that, we're going to counter it by getting some Hellions, and then to take care of the Zerglings, and then getting some Thors to take care of the Mutalisks with their anti-air splash damage. They're very effective versus Mutalisks, especially when they clump up. So as far as starting build order is concerned, we're going to be going with that 10 supply depot, followed by a 12 refinery, and then a 13 supply. We're going to be going for our barracks. And I've said this before, the reason for going for this refinery before getting the barracks is we're only going to really want to do that when we're making the decision to tech up quickly, getting a fast factory. If you were going for a bio ball, meaning if you were going for Marines, Marauders kind of mix, if that was your strategy, then you would want to get the barracks before you get the refinery. But in this case, again, we want those factory units. We're going to be getting those Hellions, and we're going to be getting those Thors. So what we want to do is we want to get that factory up as quickly as possible. Now, in getting this refinery down before you start building your barracks, what that's going to do is as soon as the refinery gets up, you make sure you saturate it, and basically the timing is going to work out so that right when you finish the barracks, you're going to have 100 Vespian, and you can go ahead and make your factory right away. So basically putting no delay in the time from where you can get those Hellions out as quickly as possible. Now again, said it before, say it a million times again, going for strategies is only done when you know or have a reasonable assurance that your opponent's going to be doing something. And now right now we kind of have a reasonable assurance that they're going to be going for speedlings. You might ask, well, how can you be so certain of that? Well, the reason is because we moved into this base here and we saw that the extractor was up and the spawning pool was still hatching. So he was mining from this extractor before the spawning pool finished creating. And you might be like, okay, what's the point? Well, the point is that means they're getting Vespian gas. Now, once the spawning pool comes up, they're going to spend that Vespian gas, because obviously a player isn't going to mine Vespian gas when they don't need it. They're going to obviously put to use what they've been working towards getting. So they made the conscious decision to go for Vespian gas, so they're clearly going to be using it. Now, once that spawning pool creates, that puts them in a position of having basically three different options. Either they're going to be getting that speedling upgrade, or they're going to be upgrading their hatchery to a layer, or they're going to be getting a baneling's nest. That's what they're likely to be spending their Vespian on. Now with our scout, we saw that the spawning pool was being created, and we didn't see a layer, and we didn't see a baneling's nest, so that leaves one thing. That leaves the reasonable assurance that they're going to be going for those speedlings. So in knowing that, what we do is we build a Hellion. As you can see, in seeing that scouting information, we started building one Hellion. We have a second Hellion on the way, and we're going to be moving out with this. So again, we're kind of making this decision to go for the Hellion and Thor mix based off what we see our opponent doing. After that scouting information, after seeing the likelihood of speedlings, what we did was we started making those Hellions, and what we're going to actually be doing right after that is building another command center. You might be saying, well, that's kind of strange, why would you build a command center? The reason is that in getting Hellions, in getting Thors, we need a lot of Vespian gas. We need more Vespian gas than we're going to be able to get off just one base play, or rather, that we're going to be able to get from these two refineries. So we're going to be building this command center so we can go ahead and take our natural expansion and get these two additional Vespian geysers saturated, because Thors do cost a lot of Vespian. As you can see, our suspicions were confirmed here. We do see these speedlings, so we know that the first half of the equation is correct. Getting these Hellions was a proper response because our opponent did get speedlings. So now we can use that to our advantage. We can use the fact that Hellions do very well for Zerglings to our advantage. We're going to be transitioning into this Thor build because of the fact that speedling into Muta is a very popular build. We can almost with unreasonable, or let's that's not the proper term, and I don't want to put this in outtakes, so I'm going to continue talking. We can almost certainly assume that they're going to be going for that Mutalisk build because speedling into Muta is such a prevalent strategy versus Terran players. And someone might be wondering, especially a newer player, well, how can you be so certain of that? How can you kind of make that assumption? That seems kind of unreasonable. Well, it's not really unreasonable because of the fact that it's happening. It's basically what the metagame is. And what does that mean per se? Well, the metagame is kind of what's going on in the current game state. What players are doing in the ladder and what players are doing in tournaments. And someone might also then say, well, how am I supposed to be aware of this? How am I supposed to know this? Well, one example of what you can do is you can watch pro replays. Another example is you could watch our videos here at For StarCraft 2 Strategy. I myself play in the Diamond League. If you haven't seen the video, I did reach rank 1 Diamond not too long ago. I think I have fallen. I haven't really played a ton of games this week. Kind of been concentrating. I've been working and I've been trying to make these videos for you guys. I'm happy with top 10 in the Diamond League anyways. I'm not too concerned. I'm a self-proclaimed not pro gamer, kind of casual hardcore, I guess is what you could call me. I love the game. I play it a decent amount, but I'm not going to tournaments or anything, mainly because I've got other things going on. But anyways, that's besides the point. The point is the fact that if you kind of understand the way the metagame works, if you kind of understand what players are doing, you can make those reasonable assumptions. So sorry for that giant tangent. I know some people don't like that, but I kind of had to say that because it's the basis behind going for certain strategies, knowing what your opponent is likely to be getting. And that, coupled with scouting information, is what's going to allow you to make proper decisions and proper responses. So now we did see the upgrade to the layer here, as you can see. We did see that they were going for that layer tech, but we have yet to actually see the spire come down. Now our suspicions are going to be confirmed again with this Muta tech switch once we get a scanner sweep, which I believe is coming somewhat shortly. Not yet, but anyways, we're going to be scanning shortly, and we're going to see the fact that there you go, there's the scan. Look at that, perfect timing. And we're going to be seeing those Mutalisks pop out. We're going to be seeing the spire. So our suspicions were confirmed yet again. At first, we assumed that they were going for those speedlings because we saw that he didn't tech switch to anything else as soon as his spawning pool came up. He didn't build a layer as soon as his spawning pool came up, and he didn't build a baneling's nest. So we assumed that he was getting for that spawning pool and getting that speedling upgrade. And then after that, we made the assumption that he was going for Muta simply by the fact that that's a very popular build, and that assumption was correct as well. Moving in with those Mutas, trying to do some damage, but these Thors are such a good response unit to that. Their anti-air splash damage is so effective versus Mutalisk, especially when they bunch up. And basically what you want to do is you do always kind of want to make sure. I think a lot of players panic when things attack their mineral lines, and they say, well, I want to get as much resources out of my mineral line before my gatherers die, so I don't want to pull them off. Not really always the best decision. It's sometimes a lot better to pull all your workers off the mineral line, bring in a unit that can counteract whatever's harassing you, and then bring them back. Because it's better to put a stop or a pause on your gathering than to lose all your units and not be able to gather after you remove the threat. So definitely try to keep a cool head. I know it's can be pretty stressful for players having the mineral line attacked, but try to keep a cool head, keep a level head, and not panic, and pull your workers off the line, deal with the threat, and then bring them back on. So as you can see, we've been pumping out these Thors and these Hellions, and once again, the Hellion's going to do a lot of damage to these Speedlings, and the Thors absolutely demolish these Mutalisks. So I mean, that's pretty much it as far as the general idea behind the strategy, the reason we're doing things. Another thing to note here, getting this plating upgrade, very, very effective, especially since the Zerg player can kind of overwhelm you in numbers. What you're going to be allowed to do with this plating upgrade is it's going to allow your Hellions to take a little bit more damage. So if 1 or 2 Hellions do get surrounded, if you miss micro just a little bit and a Hellion does get surrounded by some Zerglings, it's going to allow them to survive that initial attack and basically come out of the situation alive. Now obviously a living Hellion is better than a dead Hellion, so it's kind of a no-brainer there. Now basically what we're going to be looking to do is once we get kind of a critical mass of units, once we get 4 to 5 Thors and then 6 to 8 Hellions, that's when we're going to be pushing out. It's going to just be a potent force that's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Now, I don't believe that, this is a video from the little one here, I don't believe that the little one brings out SCVs. That's not a bad idea. I almost always, especially with a mech build like this, with these Hellions and these Thors, I almost always bring out a few SCVs, putting them on auto repair and putting them on follow. You will not believe how effective that can be. It can almost double or triple the lifespan of your units. And that aside from that, it also creates some sort of diversion for the enemy player's units to attack. If they start attacking our SCVs and they're not paying attention to these units that are actually killing them, they're obviously going to lose, because they're going to lose their units due to that fact. So as you can see, moving up with these Hellions and these Thors, the Hellions just absolutely roasting these ground forces, and the Thors taking care of any air threat. And that's pretty much going to be the game. The Zerg player is not really having a whole bunch here. He did do some expanding up here in these corners, which is all well and great, but it wasn't enough. This response was basically just too strong for him to handle. So yeah, again, look at this. We even have a whole, look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Having these workers repair this Thor. Look at the amount of units that was attacking this Thor. There were about 4 to 5 Mutalisks here, and they were about 6 roaches as well. And this Thor is still alive just because of all these SCVs repairing. Same scenario would have been up here if he had some SCVs repairing this attacking force. So again, just a quick overview of what we're looking at here. This is the Hellion and Thor response to a Zerg player going for that Speedling Mutalisk build. Getting that 10 supply depot followed by the refinery, then getting the barracks and following up with that quick factory. Then doing that critical scouting, looking for the Speedling upgrade, and if you can make that a reasonable assured guess that they are getting that Speedlings, you're going to go ahead and pump out those Hellions, and then switch to that Thor tech, and there you go. So again, guys, this has been for StarCraft 2 Strategy. If you like our videos and you like what we're doing, please be sure to subscribe. Please do stay tuned for more videos, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.